Welcome back to the Marine Hydrodynamics course. So, in our last class, we talked about what potential flow is, and today we'll be talking about the stream function. And as the name suggests, actually, the stream function gives you the equation of the stream lines, which we have been talking about. So, of course, we need to have certain mathematical equation in order to get these streamlines, which will, of course, tell us how the fluid is going to flow. So, that's pretty cool. And once you learn this and little more advanced techniques, then you can use this and apply it in computational fluid dynamics to actually get streamline visually. So that's going to be a lot of interesting things to do. So how we define stream function? So we say that the velocity, and by the way, stream function is denoted by this function xi. This you must have seen in quantum mechanics as well, when we are dealing with wave equations, quantum wave equations. But let's not go into that. So we are going to use this equation xi, and velocity is defined as the curl of xi. So the curl of stream function gives us the velocity. And talking about the physical meaning of the stream function, I just told before, it will give you the streamline equation, the streamline diagram or flow, and tangent to any point in that particular streamline will give you the velocity, the direction of velocity of the fluid particle. So that's what the physical meaning is. And this is stream function, but let's see if this method, like, it should first of all satisfy the continuity equation. So I'm going to take the divergence of velocity should be 0 for the continuity equation. So let's see if that is satisfied so that we can solve it. So the divergence of curl, as we know, is 0, so this is automatically satisfied. This is automatically satisfied, the continuity equation. So that's great. So how do we solve it then? Then we'll come to irrotationality. So suppose for irrotationality, what should we have is that the vorticity must be equal to 0. So the curl of the velocity must be 0, right? So we get this equation, and after solving this equation, you can write this using mathematical identities, expand it and write it as this way. And this gives you an equation. This must be equal to 0, and this will actually give you three unknowns, actually, because we'll have 5x, 5y, and 5z in the three separate directions. We'll have a stream function. So this now gives you three unknowns. All right. So this is what we have. The continuity is automatically satisfied. For irrotationality, we get one equation. And one thing about stream function is that it's more useful, I'll just quote that word useful, or so it's more useful in scenarios where we are talking about two-dimensional case scenarios and axis symmetric flows. So in those case scenarios, the stream function is pretty useful. And if you know a little bit of mathematics about curls, let's say the x direction velocity of the fluid is u and the y direction velocity of the fluid is v, and therefore I'll have a velocity vector as ui cap plus vj cap. This is simple vector mathematics. And if I define velocity as the curl of the stream function, then I can say that u equals to, so what can I say, that u equals to the del xi by del y, and v equals to del xi minus del xi by del x. So from stream function we can find out the x direction velocity and the y direction velocity. And previously in our case, when we had the potential flow, from potential flow, if you want to find u is nothing but del phi by del x, and v is del phi by del y. So this is what you have from the potential flow, and this is from the stream function. So these are the two things which we have here. And you can do this, of course, in various coordinates. You can do it in cylindrical coordinates or spherical polar coordinates. We won't go into that, but that's just some mathematical manipulations and substitutions which you have to do in order to get the equation. So finally, just to sum up the stream stream function and the velocity potential, I'm going to present a table here. So let me go down and present a table. So this is the table which we have. So for velocity potential, the definition is that velocity is nothing but the gradient of the velocity potential. Stream function velocity is equal to the curl of the stream function. continuity, for the continuity satisfaction, we get an equation that the Laplacian of the velocity potential must be equal to 0, and for the stream function it is automatically satisfied, the continuity is automatically satisfied. Coming to irrotationality, for velocity potential it is automatically satisfied, whereas for stream function we'll get three equations each for the three different directions. And suppose we are considering a two-dimensional zero irrotational flow and a two-dimensional flow, so the change in velocity in the z direction or the third dimension is 0. Then for continuity again we have this, and the stream function is automatically satisfied. For irrotationality we have, again it's automatically satisfied, and we have we'll get the stream function only as a function of z, and we'll get the Laplacian of the stream function must be equal to 0. So this is of course solvable, and leads to a closure because we have one unknown and one equation. So therefore we said that it's more useful. Okay, I missed an L here, by the way. It's more useful in the two-dimensional case. Now coming to one problem, let's take one problem. We haven't done a problem yet. So suppose you are given the potential function or the stream function of any fluid flow, you can then find out the other counterpart. For example, if you are given the potential velocity potential, then from this you can find out the stream function, or else if you are given the stream function you can find out the velocity potential though. So that's really great. So let's take an example. Suppose that the velocity potential given to us is x into y. So this is the velocity potential. If you take the gradient, you'll get the respective velocities in the x and y direction. That really simplifies our things. So I know that u equals to del phi by del x, and in this case scenario it is equal to y, but this also equals to del xi by del y from our definition which we just saw above. So using this quantity we can say that xi is equal to y square by 2 plus some function of x, let's call it some function of x, and in a similar case I can say v is equal to d phi by del y, which is equal to x in this case, which is also equal to minus del xi by del x, right? So for this what I'm going to do is I'm going to first differentiate this with respect to x. So del xi by del x, from this I'm getting so this should be equal to f dash x with a negative sign because I'm going to calculate negative. So negative f dash x, f1 dash x in fact, will give us x, and therefore we'll have as minus x square by 2. So this is what we have, and of course there'll be a constant. So just substituting this is f1 only, not f1 dash. So simply substituting this into this equation, we finally got the stream function as y square by 2 minus x square by 2 plus some constant. So this is what we have. Now if you want to find the velocity of the fluid particles at each point, you just need to take the curl of this equation, and you'll get of course a vector equation which will give you the stream function. So that's pretty cool. You can then plot it in a graph to get the flow field. So that's what we just saw, and that's all for now. In our next class we'll try and see if we can actually see some examples of different kinds of streamlines which we have, and their corresponding potential and stream function. So that we'll see in our next class. Till then, stay safe and thank you.